We are going to move on to our questions now. And Levi Ward, I recognise his name, so you submit questions to the Old Don Morocco podcast from Franklin, Ohio. Just wanted to ask you, do you have thoughts on Dr. Death Steve Williams? He's one of my favourite old school wrestlers, and I have heard stories he was one of the toughest wrestlers to live. But was wondering if you had any experiences with him, and also do you have thoughts of his involvement in the Brawl for All?
Well, he was a great wrestler. He wasn't a great boxer. And while he could wrestle, he didn't have a chin. He couldn't take a punch. And that was his downfall, especially in the Brawl for All. But he was a great collegiate amateur wrestler, University of Oklahoma. Jim Ross loved him. He loved Jack Swagger too, by the way. And he loved anybody that was from Oklahoma that wanted to go into the pros. He would help them. But Dr. Death, I rode with him a lot in Louisiana. He's not a big talker. Good driver, though. I mean, when you put him behind that wheel and nobody else touched it, he would get you there and he'd get you back and safely. I mean, and he would go. I mean, he wouldn't go down 80, 90 miles an hour, but he would hit 70, 75, and you'd make good time. But great guy. I never saw him have any trouble in the ring with anybody until the Brawl for All. And who beat him in the Brawl for All?
Bart's Gun.
Bart Gunn. And Bart ended up, he ended up winning it. So, Butterbean, I read a deal about him, and I met him. I don't know him very well, but he said that he told WWF back in those days, he'd put them over. And they said, nope, don't put nobody. It's going to be a complete shoot. And he went, okay. Because he knew he could beat them. He'd been in there with the toughest. He's 400 pounds or close to it and short, and he didn't have a neck. It's like his head set right on his shoulders. So,
and like a thumb. You know what I mean? He just looked like a thumb.
So, to hit somebody, you got to turn that head. But when his neck's here, you couldn't turn it much. So you couldn't really, he's from Alabama, but you couldn't really get him a good shot to really, I guess he's been knocked out, but I don't remember him getting knocked out or even knocked down, really. I was a pretty big fan of his. But he offered to put him over and lose, and they told him no. So he went in there and just beat everybody up. So basically, they killed what they were trying to push, and they would have been. But and they thought, guess who they thought would win that?
I know they thought Bart Gunn. Oh well, they thought Dr. Death was going to win the tournament, and then when it was Bart Gunn versus Butterbean, it was split 50-50 on who they thought was going to win that as well.
Yeah. But they thought that Steve would win it, therefore to enhance his character, that he won a tough man contest on TV, but he ended up getting knocked out. And they never expected Bart to win it. I mean, he didn't win it, did he?
He did win it. He won the entire thing.
He beat Butterbean?
No. The tournament itself, the Butterbean fight was many months afterwards. But the tournament itself, Bart Gunn won, and then they rewarded him winning by taking him off TV for 6 months.
We'll teach you to win.
Oh yeah.
Don't you threaten us for doing what we don't tell you to do. Yeah, but the world of MMA and the world of professional wrestling is like worlds apart. So if you don't have a plan in mind going in, then you're lost. And I think WWE come out of that with the Butterbean thing with a big black eye.
This might be a very quick yes or no question. Do you remember an incident with Dr. Death? I believe it was him when there was either a clattering of heads or someone clotheslined him in the face or elbowed him in the face, and he needed something like well over 100 stitches to close the wound. This may have been in Mid-South, and he still turned up the next day.
When was this?
Well, this must have been like early 80s or something, or mid 80s, maybe.
100 stitches.
Yeah, it was an absolute bloodbath, apparently.
I don't remember that. Never heard about it.
Okay, I'll research that and I'll get back to you on it.
I'm going to research it too.
Yeah, I believe
My
it's something like
God.
130 something stitches, and I can't. There was some miscommunication. He ends up getting sliced up horribly, and I think Bill Watts said, "You better not miss tomorrow's match though, or else you're gone." So he still had to turn up.
Oh, that sounds like Watts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that sounds like him. See, Watts used to, when we go to TV, he would call a prayer session. And it would be Watts, DiBiase, and Jake the Snake leading this little Christian ceremony. And they would say, God bless this group and get us to the town safely, and God do this and God do this. And I was standing over there and I'm saying, well, God, I was saying, please talk somebody into going and buying a ticket so we can make some money. Because the territory wasn't that good. I wasn't making any money much. So, but I cannot get over there. The ministers of Mid-South, Watts, Teddy, and Jake.